This is gonna suck. Well, that's truth in advertising, or in this case, dialogue. Thanks, Amazon executives, you shouldn't have. No, really, you motherfuckers shouldn't have. Playdate is an Amazon original that's an alleged action comedy from director Luke Greenfield, who did The Animal with noted crackpot piece of shit motherfucker Rob Schneider. You know how much of a piece of shit motherfucker Rob Schneider is? His own daughter doesn't want anything to do with him. Google who Rob Schneider's daughter is. You might be surprised. Also, Luke did The Girl Next Door. They introduced us to Alicia Cuthbert. Whatever fucking happened to her, by the way? She was in that movie and a few others and then seemingly dropped off the face of any kind of mainstream star role things, whatever. Also, Luke did Let's Be Cops. That's kind of like They Might Be Giants, except Let's Be Cops. Let's just go over here and make some comedy that makes Let's Be Cops looks like Citizen fucking Kane. Anyway, this was written and produced by Neil Goldman, who has worked on television, producing, and writing. I produce a lot of stuff I don't want the world to see. I wish I hadn't seen Playdate, even though Alan Ritchson, yes, the guy that was in Jack Reacher, who is an incredibly devout religious man that also does great things for people, using the teachings of God's the right way. And yeah, I said God's because there are multiple, but nevertheless. He plays Jeff, who is a very, very buff stay-at-home dad that runs into Brian, played by Kevin James. The once mighty Kevin James is pretty much just doing shit like this, who gets fired from his job and is trying to take care of, basically, he has a kid. There's two kids. It's a stepfather situation. Nevertheless, basically, he is just trying to be a good dad. He's coaching Little League straight out of the Homer Simpson playbook. You go that way, you go that way. You just vibrate in the middle. Bart, you're going to be able to win this game for us. We literally get that same scenario with lacrosse. And that doesn't go very well. It turns out Lucas really wants to dance. We know that the dancing exists because Rhythm of the Night is played, I think, 3 separate times. There are at least 7 to 8 needle drops of music within a 20-minute period. This is one of the laziest Amazon originals I have seen in years. And that is covering a lot of goddamn ground. Alan, basically playing Jeff, he's kind of like a big old, jacked up golden retriever. He's having a blast, and I'm sure everybody had a blast making this. I didn't have a blast watching this, because it's inoffensive at the end of the day, but it's not endearing, it's not funny, the action looks like shit, the CGI looks like shit, everybody is just a caricature of a cardboard cutout of a caricature. Ayla Fisher is in Why? What did she do to deserve this? Alan Tudyk is in this, and yeah, we have basically a plot involving Jeff, who is former military and has a son named CJ, and then there's this secret government plot that involves something tied to Jeff's past. That's pretty much it as far as non-spoilers, but this really is dumb as hell. It's really dumb as hell. I'm going to get into spoilers. 3, 2, 1. Spoilers. Because I just want to rip into this movie. I really fucking do. I absolutely despise this movie. With every fiber of my being. I sat down on my bed. I watched this. And was like, okay, it can't be that bad. Within the first 10 minutes, I knew I was in trouble. And it got worse. It kept getting worse. Like, every gag is stretched the fuck out. This is a 93-minute movie with end credits. I think by the time the outtakes finish rolling, I think they still have 7 minutes of credits. And that... Anyway, essentially, Alan is having fun. That's a good thing. And Kevin coaching lacrosse, and then he gets fired from his job because he won't fudge numbers for a corporation. And I think King's Hawaiian Rolls ended up getting a sponsorship because those were mentioned and almost shown. Like shoving in the face. Honda Odyssey must have paid a lot. They must have paid a lot to show their Odysseys in this. And Jesus, my God, with respect, what a beauty she is. She leads a mama mafia of of soccer moms and minivans that corner the market in this park. And why is any of this happening? And because Kevin James keeps wearing a windbreaker and he's hanging around kids, even though he's a stepfather, the whole point is that he is seen as one of those that is named in the Epstein files, shall we say. It's about the way I can dance around it without getting flagged. 16 minutes in, the title drops. Mind you, this movie goes under 90 minutes before the credits start rolling. And we get a title drop 16 minutes in. So, we see Jeff and CJ interacting. At one point, they get in a fight, as fathers and sons do, and he had to put him to sleep. Straight out of the Chris Benoit playbook. Does that mean? I don't care. So, Jeff talks about old war stories, how the mother kicked the bucket. He's trying to, create this, fabricated life, and it doesn't work because then people start showing up when they go to a Chuck E. Cheese knockoff thing. And Boogie Shoes plays, my Boogie Shoes, do. I could have done a musical intro, but this movie doesn't fucking deserve that. It deserves to be under the heel of my boot, pressing down till it stops fucking moving. This isn't even the worst movie I've seen this year. It's just such an assembly line, bit of bullshit. Like, everything is just, has the edges sanded off. Everything is just so blah, and, it's just, gruel passed on. And not even, please, sir, may I have some more? I don't even want to eat this. So, we do see some really good-looking pizza. Now I want pizza. Oh, wait, I have some in my fridge. Hooray for leftovers. Jeff isn't his dad. Give Me Some Lovin' plays. And then we get Silence of the Lambs clips while they're in the goddamn van going away. And Jeff basically explains about this stuff. He talks about an old military, general. Are there any other kind of generals? Except the ones that sell insurance with badly CGI'd generals. And he talks about Colonel Kurtz. We're not going, anywhere else. I know nothing. You'll recognize the guy that played Colonel Kurtz, by the way. He's a really good character actor. It's just, unfortunately, he is locked into this shit. But Rhythm of the Night plays a bunch. Alan is dancing to it. Again, he seems to be having fun. And that's great. I'm glad he did. They keep labeling Brian one of the Epstein file guys, and that's due in large part to the windbreaker, I guess. And then we have this long drawn-out thing where Ayla Fisher basically has to, slum it here. She has her kid get a taser out. Oh, you're going to tase this bad man. But then we get the taser going into her, and she gets shocked and falls over. That's it for her, by the way. I hope the paycheck was worth it. I really do, because she deserves a lot better than what she's gotten lately as far as roles. Jeff works security. Worked with a guy that sort of looked like Zach Galifianakis, so he's a Galifianak-ish. And the kids then drank about 1,000 milligrams of caffeine, having ingested at least 700 milligrams of caffeine in one day, multiple times because I'm a fucking idiot. That's not a good sign or a good idea, especially for children. It's almost like the squishy thing where they took the massive amount of sugary squishy Milhouse and Bart, that is, and had the $100. Remember that? Remember that shit? I don't even actually remember what episode that was. Help me out, folks. But we get, I believe, Harry Nilsson's Without You, Livins, Without You. I think I placed twice because Jeff talks about rescuing CJ. And CJ looks a lot like him. Also, CJ just doesn't really have a whole lot of emotion. Jeff also talks about a bad relationship with his dad. Straight out of Compton plays, because we saw one clip of an Ice Cube movie. And the action is stupid. Absolutely stupid. The chase scenes are terrible. There was one point where one of the pursuing vehicles from the bad guys ended up hitting a power pole. It went on them, it exploded, and then a dumpster exploded and landed, and it literally looked like a PS2 FMV. So, good job there. Good job there, Amazon, phoning this shit in. Stephen Root is Jeff's dad. He abandoned him at a orphanage for girls when he was 4. I don't know why we need to say that. CJ is his son, or rather his clone. Yeah, he's a clone. Why is he a clone? Colonel Kurtz wanted to create a bunch of super soldiers. That's literally what it is. Soldiers have too many emotions because Jeff would not pull the trigger on some innocent guy there. Stuck in the Middle with You plays before we find this out, where the Zach Galifianak-ish guy gets tortured, but kind of also not, whatever, it's fine. And then Put Your Back Into It by Ice Cube and I think Eve. I actually don't know if that's the name of the song. I just know that that's the part I remember. Oh yeah, so one thing I forgot to mention, Lucas doesn't want to play sports, he wants to dance. We get some TikTok references. He also sees that Jeff and CJ have some dancing and stuff like that. And once CJ is taken away by Simon, who is played by Alan Tudyk, who really deserves much better than this, we get, first of like a couple gags where Kevin James can't drive a van and can't drive it into somebody properly, and Jeff has to punch people out because he is big and large. So, they go to this factory, or this laboratory, where Dexter is not hitting the buttons or saying, Dee Dee, get out of my laboratory, and there's a bunch of CJs, a giant army of them, because it's a giant clone army. Except it's not Star Wars Attack of the Clones, and we're not getting a cool lightsaber fight between one of the kids and somebody that looks like Christopher Lee, unfortunately. So, yeah, Colonel Kurtz is behind it. Kevin James misses hitting him with the van again, and Jeff punches him out. And it turns out that basically, even though Kevin James tried to save his own family, he realized, you know what? Hey, Jeff isn't all that bad of a guy. So then Jeff blows up the place, and we get outtakes. Oh, and then we get a mid-credits scene where basically Jeff says, hey, we have to stay at your place because they blew up our house. A totally different set of bad guys. Don't you dare do another sequel. Don't you do another sequel. Don't you dare do another one of these. My God, Playdate is terrible. Just terrible. It's manufactured assembly line content that people will consume. Like me, because this is the 280th movie I have seen released this year, and that means I have to go to 337 to match last year's total. I thought it was 336, but I missed one. So, yeah, I got 57 more fucking movies released this year that I gotta watch to match it. Meaning I'll probably go with 60 more movies. This is terrible. Agree, disagree, what I said, like, share, subscribe, Twitter, Letterboxd, Blue Sky handles in the description. I'm John Retlin. Until we go somewhere other than the Amazon dumpster pile again, happy trails to you.